All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you to our stream. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just Jay, with the Soto Podcast. You guys know we advocate for children first. We're going to talk about this young lady because she has been in a lot of people's stories. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some things and maybe give you guys some details that you may or may not have known about. Her name being Kashala Francis. She was 13 years old, coming out of Houston, Texas. You guys know I live in Texas. So this is the most important thing because some people reported that she was jumped and that she passed away from her injuries. But this is the real story. The cause of death of her has been released of the 13-year-old girl who died days after she was violently attacked near her school in Southeast Houston. Now, according to the medical examiner's report, I want you guys to understand, this is an official court record document from a state employee, federal state. I think it's a state employee, medical examiner. I think that's per state, but I could be wrong. But nonetheless, it's official that they can use this in court, okay? Again, this little young girl, she's a young girl to me. She's almost my daughter's age. She died due to complications of intracranial neoplasm. I know that's a big, huge word, and I'm not even really familiar with what it is, but I don't know if you guys know what that is, but they actually refer to it simply as a brain tumor. How many of you guys knew that? They thought that she died because of the fight. I'm telling you guys that it was probably exacerbated by the fight. Now, why does that sound familiar? Because we just did a story on Renaya Wright, and there was also another story about another girl that I didn't do a story on that actually died in a similar fashion. That's the crazy thing about this. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how we even get to this point, okay? Intracranial neoplasms are abnormal growths within the cranial cavity that may be composed of benign or malignant cells. The tumor may be primary or a metastasis from another. I think that's how you say that, metastasis. A brain tumor. I'm just saying, these are things that you can actually prove, okay? Now, Kashala, again, a student at Attucks Middle School, died last week at a Texas Children's Hospital after doctors discovered a tumor in the back of her head that may have been exacerbated by the fight she was involved in on Thursday afternoon. Her mother, by the name of Mamie Jackson. Let me get her photo right there. That is the mom. And of course, that's her baby on the right-hand side. They said, I can see the girls kicking her in the head while other children are laughing at her. Mamie told the news station as she described the video that has surfaced of her daughter being punched and kicked, because you guys know that's what these kids do, is they record it and they upload it, it goes viral, and they think it's funny. Shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor, talks about the attention that these girls crave, that our society craves. We are willing to record and upload almost anything and everything. It is quite ridiculous. I mean, I'm constantly watching stories and things on Facebook that are just the most heinous things, whether it's fighting, whether it's shooting. It's always something crazy, but it doesn't matter what it is. People are uploading it. Let's move on, all right? In the video, at least one of the girls fighting with Kashala can be heard laughing. We are not going to show the video. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say anything about that if you guys want to go look that up, but I'm not going to show it here. Mamie said her daughter was jumped about a block from her school by two girls as she was walking home. Now, she said when Kashala came home from the school that evening, she had bruises on her face, but she claimed that she was fine, okay? But days later, Kashala briefly appeared to become delusional while spending the night at a relative's house, and that she complained of severe headaches when she woke up on Sunday. That's coming from her mother, okay? She said, I drove I drove over and I told her to get up. I said, "Get up, Kashala." She kept saying, "Mama, my head hurts." So she laid down. She said moments later, her daughter lost consciousness and then she called 911. Now, Houston Police Department spokesman Victor Sintes said she was rushed to Texas Children's Hospital and then she was pronounced dead nearly a week later. So she never recovered from that, okay? Now, paramedics took Kashala to Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, where she ended up slipping into a coma. Mamie said while treating her daughter, doctors found the tumor in her head. So that makes me wonder, I don't know if you guys know or not, if they knew about this prior. In my opinion, I think it is of the most importance that we take our children to medical facilities to make sure, get them checked out, regular doctor's appointments, or whatever the case is. I don't know if only a CAT scan would have told you this or whatever the case is. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know. I don't know if this is something you could have prevented or if this is something you could have found out earlier, okay? Now, they said we found that she has a large tumor in the back of her head and she had fluid buildup in her brain, Jackson said. Now, Houston Independent Schools District officials released a statement saying that they were aware of the off-campus altercation. They quote this: "They were aware of the off-campus altercation." Words matter. Why are they saying these words? Because what they're saying is that it didn't have anything to do with the school. There's a reason that they're putting these words out there. They want to distance themselves from any wrongdoing, and I totally understand why they would do that. Because if they're putting out a fact to say this is just factually what happened, I get it, and it kind of keeps them off of the hook of more trouble. Unlike the situation with Renaya Wright, where it actually happened in the classroom. Now they're having to answer a bunch of questions that they don't want to have to answer to at this point. Now, she said she was a sweet baby, real sweet. That's coming from her mom. She said she was always she said she loved me and gave me hugs and kisses all the time. Now, Mamie feels that there is more she needs to know. Her daughter going from a seemingly perfectly healthy young teen to critical and dying days after a fight doesn't make sense, even with a tumor that was unbeknownst to them. It's very complicated. If this fight didn't happen, Mamie strongly believes I still would have more time with my baby. But let me pause right there real quick and ask you guys a question. We got about 140 people. If you guys would, click that thumbs up. If this is your first time here, thank you for being here. Click the thumbs up. It'll share our stream and let other people know that we're live telling this story about this little girl, because I want to make sure everybody has a chance to hear this and everybody has a chance to voice their opinion in the live chat. You can type what you need to type in that chat. Ask a question. Talk to my moderators if there's something that you need to get to me, or if there's something that I'm missing, or if you have an opinion about something, okay? This is my point. If you guys are religious, what does the Bible say? The Bible says tomorrow is not promised. That's paraphrasing it, but tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So if tomorrow is not promised to anyone, then how can we know with absolute certainty that this benign tumor or whatever it is might not have caused her to pass away anyway? All we're talking about is logic. Let's take our emotions out of it. Let's take the anger out of it. And let's just say reasonably, how do we actually know that in a week's time that she still might not have lost her life due to something that you guys did not know about? That is a possibility. We're just talking about the possibility being there that maybe something could have happened. Nobody knows. We have people passing away every day. To be seemingly being okay. You know, we just had a celebrity die earlier today, right? We never know the day or the hour. Let's move on. According to HCIFS spokesman, the autopsy found that Kashala died of what they call natural causes due to complications of intracranial neoplasm, or let me see, pilocytic astrocytoma. These words are killing me. Y'all know I can't read that well. Now, according to the National Organization for Rare Disorders website, juvenile pilocytic astrocytoma, or JPA, is a rare childhood brain tumor. In most cases, the tumor is a benign, slow-growing tumor that usually does not spread to the surrounding brain tissue. Usually doesn't. I'll tell you guys this, because maybe you guys do not know this about me. Maybe some people don't know, but I actually know what it's like to have a benign tumor very close to your brain to be operated on. I had this happen to me about 5 years ago. If you guys have ever met me in person, you guys know I don't hear very well out of the right side of my ear. That's because they had to cut inside of my head and do surgery on me. They had to put me under, and they had to remove a benign tumor. And it's also caused me some hearing loss. So I'm almost deaf inside my right ear. I had a benign tumor. I know how scary that is. I mean, the fact that when I was going into surgery, I'm thinking, well, you know, no big deal. It's just surgery. But all my family came down to come check on me. So shout out to my family. I definitely appreciate everybody for doing that. But, you know, I don't even think I realized how severe that actually was, you know, to be that close to maybe you might slip into a coma. It could happen. Let's move on past that, though, okay? Now, HPC homicide detectives initially investigated the girl's death. An HPC public information officer said that due to the autopsy's ruling, the investigation will shift to see if any assault charges might be filed against those involved in the off-campus fight. So we don't have any official word whether there are any arrests that have been made. Because in the black community, these kids get into fights all the time. It happens. And it doesn't seem like the police are willing to arrest them. You catch these people on camera, they fighting in stores, fighting in Walmart, fighting in Chick-fil-A, they're fighting in freaking McDonald's, they're fighting at Waffle House. What are some of the places that you guys have seen people fighting? You see them fighting everywhere. It seems to be a common occurrence. And I'm not talking about just adults. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I am specifically referring to kids her age. That's why I said that. I know a lot of those videos y'all see are grown people. I'm talking about 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. Recording fights and fighting anywhere and everywhere. I don't know if you guys saw that story out of Chicago where they had to arrest like 50 kids. Did you guys see that story? It was hundreds of kids flooding the streets, and the police couldn't really do anything about it. And they ended up arresting like 50 of them or some crazy crap like that. Out acting a fool in the streets. We're going to put a pin in that. Where's your pens? We're going to take an ink pen. We're going to bookmark that part of the story. We'll come back to that. Now, Houston ISD issued the following statement. The Houston Independent School District is deeply saddened to learn of the death of one of our students. We extend our sincerest condolences to the student's family, friends, teachers, and classmates. Off-campus events that preceded the student's death are being investigated by the Houston Police Department, and HISD is cooperating. We have grief counselors available at Attucks Middle School for all of those who may need assistance. So good for them. But we are getting ready to get knee-deep into this here in a minute. Let me see, did you do that story? Let me know which story you're talking about. I've done a lot of stories. If you're talking about the fighting stories, I've done quite a few of them. And they're kind of risky to kind of put up because I tend to get flagged for them. But nonetheless, guys, fair usage. Let's get it popping. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
13-year-old girl has died after spending several days on life support following an after-school fistfight and the discovery of a tumor. ABC 13 anchor Tom Cook is here with more from the child's heartbroken mother. Tom.
Yeah, what a sad ending, Lisa. Too early to say if that fight led to the death of Kashala Francis or if the tumor she had was a pre-existing condition. Minutes ago, her family and police confirmed to us that she had died. The 13-year-old's mother says this is the video coming up of her daughter that got into a fight with two girls at Attucks Middle School last Thursday. Kashala went home with a bruise on her face after that fight right there, but she told her mom she was okay. A short time later, her mother says Kashala became weak and complained of headaches. And then on Sunday, Kashala lost consciousness and was taken to the hospital. And there, doctors discovered a large tumor in her head and fluid buildup in her brain.
All I know is my daughter was perfectly fine before this fight. And now, I'm losing my baby.
Again, it's unknown if the fight had anything to do with Kashala's condition or her death. Houston police and HISD are investigating the fight, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning that fights are a big problem there.
Wow, did y'all hear that? Let me rewind this because we're getting ready to get knee deep in how crappy this school is. I'm gonna read this part again so you guys can hear what this man just said. While y'all are watching, hit that thumbs up. It'll share our stream. Just hit the thumbs up. If you're watching, hit that thumbs up. Thank you. Listen to this.
Kashala's condition or her death. Houston police and HISD are investigating the fight, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning that fights are a big problem there.
So you mean to tell me that at this school, at Attucks Middle School, if you guys know what Attucks stands for, is actually a very well-known figure in not in the black community, but in black history. And this is the type of thing that are going on at these schools, at your MLKs, at your Attucks, at your Douglases. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this seems to be a weird thing that the most noble school names for noble black people tend to have the worst schools, the worst environments, not conducive to learning, and it generally has a very bad stigma attached to it. Listen to what he said again.
The fight, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning that fights are a big problem there. Investigating the fight, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning that fights are a big problem there.
Fights are not a rare occurrence there. Do you guys catch that? It is normal at this school for there to be a crap ton of fights. Now, why is that? Is it the teacher's fault? Is it something in the water? Is it the way that the school smells? Is it because these kids don't have the right opportunities? Is it the white man holding them back? What is it? Is it the president's fault that he's building a wall and these kids feel left out? What is it?
The fight, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning that fights are a big problem there.
After school day, it's always a fight up here. And
oh, thank you so much, sister. Let's listen to this awesome sister again tell you guys on camera what the problem is, and they still continue to send their kids to these schools knowing that they can send their kids to private school because you could do that online at home. Internet is cheaper than it's ever been. What did she say? Let's listen again.
after school day, it's always a fight up here, and it's no police. It's always a fight up here, and it's no police.
We're going to play this one more time before DJ Just Jay goes off the deep end and starts cussing and fussing and going off on our people. Man, I promise you guys, I've been trying to hold it together and not get flagged on this channel, but tonight I might get flagged. What? Are you kidding me? I just might go off tonight. Do y'all want to see me go off tonight, or do y'all want me to keep my cool, calm, and collective demeanor? That's a joke, by the way. It's collected. Y'all want to see me go off, or do y'all want to see me keep it together? Which one? Y'all can post in the chat which one y'all want to see me do tonight.
It's always a fight up here.
Problem there.
After school, it's always a fight up here, and it's no police. They need to do more.
Who needs to do more? Who is she talking about? I can tell you who she's talking about, because I know all our people talk about is pointing the finger at somebody else. This is what we do in our community, because Just Jay is about to go off tonight. Oh, it's getting hot up in here. You guys, y'all might want to fan your phones. Y'all might want to unplug it from your charger, because it's about to get hot up in here. You hear me? We about to light some smoke up in this thing. You hear me? They need to do more. Who? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the principal? Are you talking about the police? Are you talking about security? Are you talking about the janitors? Are you talking about the lunch ladies? Who are you talking about exactly? Are you talking about the students need to be better? Or are you talking about the parents need to do better? Or are you talking about the fact that we continue to keep breeding our children in this environment of single parent homes that have no father in the house, and you continue to keep putting these unbalanced children amongst each other, and they feed on each other? Oh crap, I just might get flaggy tonight. I just might get flagged tonight for what I just said. Can we not put the responsibility and onus right back on the parents? Huh? Where are my people in the chat? Who agrees with what I just said? Whose fault is it? Maybe it's the fact that we continue to keep having children that don't find any value in themselves because they only have one portion of their DNA that they grow up with in the house. Therefore, they cannot find the full value in themselves. Wow. Did we just touch on a little bit of psychology? Did we just scratch the surface a little bit? Yeah, I think we just did. I think we just scratched the surface a little bit of what the real problem is. The problem ain't having more security. The problem ain't having more metal detectors. The problem ain't having better houses. The problem ain't having better jobs. The problem ain't having a dress code. The problem is none of those things. Those things are very small micro factors in a larger problem that says that these kids are failing mentally, spiritually, and emotionally because they are jacked up because of how they're brought into this world and how the fact that they don't have the balance that they need. They don't have the love of two parents. Therefore, if you don't have balance, then it's going to tip in one direction heavily. And that usually in the Black community is the emotional side. So what do you think happens whenever you put a bunch of emotional people around each other? It's called chaos. Let's listen to what she said one more again. Let's hear that one more again.
Right, but parents at Attucks Middle School told us this morning.
Matter of fact, since we talking about Houston, Texas, we gonna run that back one time. Man, hold up. Let's hear it again.
That fights are a big problem there.
After school, it's always a fight up here, and it's no police. They need to do more. It will.
What the? Ooh, almost said it. What do having more police have to do with kids acting a damn fool? You want to have what? One cop up there per student? You mean to tell me that these kids don't have any self-control at all? Okay. But we're getting ready to talk about the substandard conditions of these schools and how bad these kids actually are. But we'll get to that.
They need to do more.
It will come back on them later on in life, the actions and everything. So yeah, I really hate it.
I don't even think she even made a clear thought as to what she was saying. And I mean no disrespect to that elder sister, but she didn't even make a clear thought as to what she was trying to say. But we'll move on.
Followed her since the beginning, and she now has the latest in the emotional story.
Why do I have to suffer?
In the eyes of a broken mother, there lies the pain of losing a child.
Why do I have to wake up and she not here?
13-year-old Kashala Francis dies 5 days after a violent fight outside of Attucks Middle School. The beloved 7th grader punched and kicked in the head a number of times. That was Thursday. By Sunday, she complained of a serious headache and fell unconscious. At the hospital, her mother says doctors discovered a tumor in her brain, but also fluid buildup on her brain. And as Kashala was on life support, her mother discovered the video of the brutal fight.
It's not fair. She did not deserve it.
And she kept saying stop, and she didn't even want to fight, but they kept going.
I've never met a person who has come into contact with Kashala who has not fallen in love with her.
And perhaps that love is best shown through their pain right now. It's a pain that cuts deep. The memories.
She was a sweet baby. Real sweet.
I want you guys to watch these videos, and I want you guys to tell me what is the thing that is missing in these stories. Can y'all look and watch and tell me what's missing?
Right now, it's a pain that cuts deep. The memories.
She was a sweet baby. Real sweet. She always said she loved me, gave me hugs, kiss.
For Kashala's best friends, they feel truly shattered.
She always found a way to make me laugh when I was sad or mad.
And for her mother, she feels there's more to know. Her daughter going from a seemingly perfectly healthy young teen to a critical state and dying days after a fight doesn't make sense, even with a tumor that was unbeknownst to them.
So, if she had a tumor in her head that we are unknowing about, and somebody repeatedly stomped and kicked and punched you in your head, you're not even fighting back. Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse?
I do agree with her. But this is the thing that we know. So let me take a pause real quick. One thing that we know, and if you guys just want to watch the news story minus my commentary, you guys know what y'all can do. Just Google the story and you can have the story without my commentary. The people that are here to listen to my commentary. If you are here for something else, then I don't know what you're doing. But let me say this. If every parent up there knows that fighting is a normal occurrence, then what is the likelihood that her daughter would end up in a fight? In my opinion, that means that it is highly probable that her daughter was eventually going to get stomped out, because it seems like all these kids do at this school is fight, because they damn sure don't do schoolwork, which I'm getting ready to prove here in a minute, but let's move on.
So if this fight didn't happen, Mammy strongly believes
I still would have had more time with my baby.
And so now we have the investigation that is being led by Houston police. They're working with HISD police as well. Kashala's autopsy will be done here at Texas Children's Medical Hospital, and they will then pass those results to Houston police, and that will give them the answers that they very well may need to figure out if her injuries were caused by this fight or if it was solely her pre-existing condition. We, of course, will keep you updated. In the meantime, the family has created a donation page to help with the funeral expenses. You can find that link on abc13.com.
And I will make sure and show you guys which link it is, because it's not a GoFundMe page, which there is a problem, and we're going to talk about that GoFundMe. But let's hear from the mom one more time.
I can see these girls kicking her in her head while other children are laughing at her.
Grief, heartbreak, and anger strikes a mother unexpectedly. Mamie Jackson is talking about this video. Her daughter, Kashala Francis, in a brutal fight. This was Thursday down the street from Attucks Middle School. They had just been released. In the video, you hear laughing as she lies on the ground, taking several blows to the head.
She's 13 years old.
Her mother says she arrived home after the fight with a bruise on her face, but Kashala insisted she wasn't badly hurt.
She kept saying, like, I'm fine.
Saturday, her mother says Kashala was at a family member's house. Another family member says Kashala appeared delusional for a moment, but things got back to normal. By Sunday, things would change again. Mamie tells me her daughter was weak and complained of a headache.
I drove over, and she told me, I told her, get up. Get up, Kashala. She kept saying, Mama, my head hurt. So she laid down.
That was the last time she saw her daughter's eyes close. By the time first responders arrived, she was unconscious. They rushed her to Texas Children's Hospital.
And we found out she have a large tumor in the back of her head. And she had fluid buildup in her brain.
The tumor unbeknownst to the family before doctors discovered it Sunday, and now her mother wonders how the other issues arose, the fluid buildup on her brain.
All I know is my daughter was perfectly fine.
That's the part I don't like. She said my daughter was perfectly fine. A tumor? Ma'am, no disrespect to Mamie Jackson, but a tumor is not perfectly fine. That is the part that pisses me off to my core. Regardless of when you found out about it, once you found out about it, you can't then get on TV and make statements and say that she was perfectly fine, because a tumor is not fine. That's a lie. It is misleading. And I am absolutely tired of us making these proclamations in front of the world, and people are looking at us and they're just saying, well, wait a minute. I mean, you have to wonder why people treat us differently. They treat us like we're unintelligent because we make unintelligent statements like that. That's all I'm saying. I don't mean any disrespect to the mom, but what she's saying is not factual. It is not accurate. She is not perfectly fine. She never was, depending on when that tumor started. When the tumor came, she was therefore going forward not perfectly fine. That's the fact. It sucks that we have to deal with facts, but that's the fact. She was not fine from the time she developed the tumor. I see what you guys are saying. Y'all say tumors go undetected all the time. Yep. A tumor, GSD mom said, a tumor in the brain is never fine. I'm very appreciative of my people, not only in the United States, but overseas that watch this channel also. I'm glad that you guys understand where I'm coming from. Let's move on.
Before this fight. And now.
But this is the thing. What I'm saying is once she found out, she said that her daughter was perfectly fine after she found out. Do you understand what I'm saying? To Street Chaplain. That is a fair statement if you're making a statement after the fact. You can't say, that's all. Look at it like this. Let's use my kid as an example. Let's just say if my kid passes away, my precious daughter, which I love to the end of this earth, and she passes away because, I don't know, because she got fouled in a sport she was playing or something. Let's just say something happened. She passes away from that, and then I find out that she's been dealing with an enlarged heart for 5 years. And I get out there and I say, well, she was perfectly fine. She was perfectly healthy before that thing happened to her, before that impact happened to her. That would actually be a lie, because that means she had a problem 5 years prior. It really boggles my mind, the fact that I would watch a person in the chat room say that, because I watch what people say in the comment section after these videos are over, and it really bothers me. And I'm like, damn, we can't be that dumb. We can't be that unintelligent to understand if you find out something after the fact. If you find out that you have cancer after the fact, you can't then turn around and say that this person was perfectly fine, because they weren't. You found out that they had a long-lasting problem. What did I say that was factually inaccurate? Any of it? I will wait for your response. You know who you are. What did I say in my statement that was factually inaccurate? If you find out a person has cancer and they die, you can't say that they were perfectly fine before they died. Something exacerbated an existing problem. Maybe I'm using too big of words. Maybe I need to find smaller words to use. Maybe we'll do something like that. Let's move on.
I'm losing my baby.
Let's move on to the next video.
Hey everyone, so I do have an update on the story that many of you guys have been following so closely since it broke last week, involving Kashala Francis, the 7th grader from Addicks Middle School who died about 5 days after a violent fight outside of the school where she was punched several times in the head and also kicked in the end at the end of the fight by a separate student.
Okay, to YT Street Chaplain, I've read you post that exact same thing like at least 6 or 7 times. Do me a favor and don't post it again. Unlike you, I understand what you said the first time you said it. There's no need to keep repeating yourself. All right? If you would, do me that favor. Don't repeat yourself. I got what you said. You did not understand what I said. That's the difference.
Hey everyone, so I do have an update on the story that many of you guys have been following so closely since it broke last week, involving Kashala Francis, the 7th grader from Addicks Middle School who died about 5 days after a violent fight outside of the school where she was punched several times in the head and also kicked in the end at the end of the fight by a separate student. While police now telling us this will not be a homicide investigation, they were waiting on that autopsy report to be complete, and that report is complete. The medical examiner has posted their findings online. It says that the manner of death for Kashala Francis has been ruled natural. She died due to complications of intracranial neoplasm as related to that brain tumor in the back of her head. This is the tumor that we had been telling you guys about, which made this case a little bit complicated. Her mother strongly believed that this fight aggravated any issues that she had in her brain, and that is why she died so suddenly. But this medical examiner confirming, telling us here in their report that she died solely from the complications of intracranial neoplasm.
She died solely from the complications of the neoplasm. That's what they said. At the end of the day, we have to go with what a medical examiner says. Unless we want to provide our own medical examiner, we have to go with that. So here's how I want to close this video out, okay? So I'm going to give you guys my closing thoughts. First and foremost, to the mother, to Mamie Jackson, this story means a little bit more to me because of the fact that I live in Texas, she lives in Texas, and I hate to see us lose our children over just nonsense. First and foremost, you guys know where my stance is on this. I believe in everybody keeping their hands, feet, and other objects to themselves. I don't like the fighting. I don't like kids fighting. There shouldn't be any fighting at school, period. I know that a lot of us grew up in environments like that where it was normal. I think it should absolutely cease, but I always believe in holding people accountable. I would say to each parent, to each student, it is not the responsibility of the school, of the leadership, of the security, of police, of the mayor, or nobody else. It is nobody else's responsibility to stop these children from fighting with each other outside of the children and the parents themselves. If they're going to cannibalize themselves, we cannot turn around and blame everybody else for the things that we're doing to ourselves. We are hurting ourselves, and we continue to keep looking outward. If you guys have ever been to any counseling, they always tell you that you need to look inside, not outside, in order to find a solution to your problems. Everybody got that? Hopefully everybody understands what I just said, because I just said a mouthful right there. So this is what I also want to say. I think it's weird the fact that every time I turn around and I log into Facebook, I continue to keep finding these videos of young girls fighting. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know if have y'all noticed the shift? Have y'all felt this shift? Where are my sisters at? Where are my brothers at? Where are my citizens of the United States? Where are my people out of this country at? I want you guys to tell me if you guys have noticed the shift and the paradigm shift in our society. No longer do you just see bunches and bunches of dudes fighting each other. Now we're actually watching, mainly in my community, in the black community, we're noticing a major shift that our girls, our precious life givers, our quote unquote queens, are the main ones that I am seeing in brand new video, 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 almost every single day. They are the ones that are being captured on film. And people are going to say to me, well, other people do it too. Well, look, all I know is what I see. And I don't care what other people do. And this is the thing. Don't tell me what other people do, because if other people are doing wrong, this is why I love this statement. We used to have a statement back in the day. Maybe some of you older people will understand. If your friends go jump off a cliff, are you going to go do it? That's a perfect analogy to say to you people and to answer everybody that continues to keep telling me, well, what about the white people? Well, what about the Mexicans? Well, what about the Asians? Well, if they turn around and if the white people are jumping off cliffs and Mexicans are jumping off cliffs and Asians are jumping off cliffs, should black people go jump off a cliff? It doesn't seem to make sense for every time somebody tries to call us out on something that we continue to keep pointing the finger outward, looking elsewhere, because we don't want to fix a problem. We don't want to deal with the problem. And I don't think we want a real solution. I don't think we really want to get better. And to me, that's the even scarier part. Why would we not want to get better? Why would we not want to do better? We're always talking about these type of situations because what we're going to continue to keep having is we're going to continue to keep having funerals for our youth. The youth will never get an opportunity to grow up and be productive citizens of the United States of America because as a whole, as a community, we are not giving them a chance. Does anybody out there hear me? Am I speaking facts or am I speaking stuff that needs to be just thrown away? Which one is it? Am I saying things that's actually helpful? Or am I saying things that should be discarded and nobody should listen to the sound of my voice? It doesn't matter to anybody. Because I don't want to waste people's time. But what I'm saying, I think it makes a lot of sense. We at Soto Nation have a message that the world needs to hear, because the world needs to hear the message of truth and logic. Soto Nation is about truth and logic. The reason why people say that we're so polarizing and it is something that is so, what do they call it? I forget the term that they call it, but the thing is, my whole point is the fact that they make it shock, what is it? Shock value, shock jock, or something like that. Facts, truth, and logic shouldn't shock anybody. Especially when the same people that are talking about keep it 100, keep it $1,000, keep it 1,000, keep it real. It seems like we don't want any of that. Am I saying something that's wrong? You guys can tell me in the chat right now before I hang this thing up. I want you guys to speak your thoughts and speak your opinions right now. We're talking about keeping it real, keep it 100, keep it grand. But when we give you facts, when Tommy gives you facts, when I give you facts, You turn around and tell me what everybody else is doing? Why? What does that have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with anything. That means that you're saying that other people have a problem that they're going to go correct in their own community. Therefore, we still haven't dealt with what we got going on right here. We are losing our young sisters to people that look just like us. This ain't a them problem. This is an us problem. Okay? This is a representation of what the majority of these kids are learning at home. All they are learning is emotion. They don't have a father there, so they don't have the balance of logic. Women naturally are emotional. Men are naturally logical. When you put those two things together, you create more chances of balance being there in that human being. You remove that and you remove the logic. You're watching these young girls cannibalize themselves. We already know that women by themselves cannot raise boys alone. You can't do it. You cannot raise a boy to be a man. More times than none. Remember, we're not talking about the microcosm. We're not talking about the 1 in 100,000. Okay? We're talking about the 99,000 that are going to fall by the wayside. The ones that aren't going to make it. The ones that are only going to make it to graves and jails. That's what this young sister represents. She represents the population of people that are continuing to lose. They are the victims. We're doing it to ourselves. This ain't the Popo fault. This ain't the mayor's fault. This ain't Donald Trump's fault. My last question to you guys before we wrap up. And I thank everybody that listened with an open mind and an open heart, by the way. Thank you guys. Should we be mad at the school in the school district? Let's pause right here. That's the perfect place to pause. Let's go back. I don't know if you guys can see this on my screen. I'm going to show you guys something. I want to know where we put the accountability and the blame. Uh-oh, I did that wrong. That's okay. I could pull it from here. I want to know where should we put the accountability? Let's look at this for a moment. This is a small chart among a few of them that are out there that you guys can go look this up on your own. This is from this school. This is out of a possible 100 points. The school that Sister Kashala went to received an F rating. That means this school sucks, and it sucks badly. Student achievement, 51 out of a possible 100. Student progress, 59 points out of a possible 100. Closing performance gaps, 71 out of a possible 100. Overall score, 59 out of a possible 100, equaling a failing rating. And I want to know, whose fault is that? Who do we blame for the failure of these kids? We're going to just blame it on the schools? We're not going to hold any accountability against our students and our parents that should be teaching them how to learn and how to win? I'm looking at their test scores. Their test scores suck. Advanced STEM courses, student progress, test scores, academics, equity, environment, 2 out of 10. Test scores, 2 out of 10. Student progress, 2 out of 10. Equity overview, 2 out of 10. Low income students, 2 out of 10. Go to greatschools.org. Y'all can look this stuff up for yourself. That chart that I showed you guys comes from www.har.com. There was a GoFundMe that was put up less than 21 hours ago. That GoFundMe is a fake GoFundMe. If any of you guys donate your money to that GoFundMe, then I'm warning you guys right now that it is not the right GoFundMe. This is what the parent put out there to let everybody know. This is my last point right here. Stephanie from the news station said that the mom told her, this is the link to the fake GoFundMe. I think that link might have been taken down, but if you guys see a GoFundMe out there, it's not correct because the family is not behind any GoFundMe pages. Their donations have been through Facebook and indicated by web articles. This is where they got their money. They did request the money because I'm pretty sure that they did not have life insurance on this baby. We usually don't. They were asking for $15,000. They collected $15,555. That's the actual fundraiser. It was done through Facebook. Okay? So that's to give you guys full disclosure. So I don't know if you guys have watched other videos, if you guys have gotten more information or less information. I hope you guys were informed when you came here. We didn't get a chance to hear from Johnny Dorsey, who was the mother of the other teen that was in that fight with Kashala, but I don't think it matters at this point. Whatever the police do with them is whatever they do. But all I really, really want is for us to stop putting our children in situations where they're not going to win. Number one, we should stop having children outside of wedlock. The children are going to lose. Number two, if we need to do research, we need to research these schools and find out if these schools are any good or if they're not. This school is an F rating school. There's no reason anybody that cares about their kid should be sending their kids to the school, period. The school sucks. The kids suck. The teachers suck. Everything about this school sucks. Homeschool your kids. Don't sentence your kids to death like this. Don't do it. This mother was very unfortunate that she had her kid around a bunch of kids that just did not give a crap. This sister did not have a chance at a failing school. I hate the fact that we'll never know what she could have grown up to be. I hate the fact that our youth continue to lose. And I hope that we continue to just make better decisions and continue to think about these things deeply. And if you don't understand, just ask questions. I hate when people make statements when they're not actually correct in what they're talking about. Sometimes we need to just ask questions. I can definitely explain it if I need to, okay? But thank you guys so much. I want to say thank you to everybody listening. I want to say a big shout out to the mom. My condolences, my sincerest condolences. If we can, guys, en masse, can we get some prayer hand emojis in the chat for the mom, for the loss of this young sister, 13-year-old Kashala Francis out of Houston, Texas. Thank you guys so much for listening to the story. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. I'm signing off. Thank you guys. Prayer hands up, and we're out.